The SEC's path to getting 5 teams in the college football playoff is becoming very clear. Imagine yesterday's results in the 4-team playoff era. Imagine what the reaction would be, right? Especially had South Carolina somehow held on against Texas A&M. We would be losing our mind. We'd be saying, oh, cannibalization. It's, the SEC it's too chaotic. There's no great team, right? But in the 12-team format, yesterday's results, it's almost like the SEC is kind of tailor-made because of the depth and the talent and the quality that you're getting in the top 8 teams in the league, it feels like, from top to bottom. Man, just so exciting. In the 12-team playoff era now, we had talked, is it possible for the SEC to get 5? That can't. There's no way, right? I mean, people had even hypothesized the SEC getting 6 in. Like, I don't see that as a realistic possibility. It feels way too aggressive. And unless something absolutely insane happens, I think 5 is about as many as they can get. But Oklahoma's upset of Alabama was the key. So if you look at it, with Oklahoma now knocking off Alabama, you have really high-quality teams that are all likely going to be ranked in the top 7, 8, 9, 10, depending on how it all shakes out. Alabama's sitting there at 8-2, and despite the loss, still very much in control of their own destiny when it comes to punching a ticket to the 12-team playoff. Well, with the win for Oklahoma, they now have some massive wins, by the way, at Alabama, against Michigan at home, at Tennessee. They're now in full control of their own destiny as well. So if you look at it, you got A&M, who is undefeated. In all likelihood, if they can take care of business this week, which they will, I don't even remember who they play, but it shouldn't be somebody that gives them many fits whatsoever. They go on the road to Texas. Even in defeat, they're a lock more than likely for the college football playoff at 11-1, right? So we can just go ahead and say, all right, Texas A&M, you can go ahead and book your tickets. Now, do you have a bye? Where are you going? Don't book your tickets yet because we don't know, but maybe just leave either the 1st of January in 2026, leave that date available, and or leave that weekend before Christmas available as well, because you'll be playing. It's just a matter of when you tee it up for the first time in the postseason. I think with Georgia, dominant one-loss team, they're in a great spot at this point. They're 9-1, that one loss coming to Alabama, so they're not in control of their own destiny as it relates to getting to the SEC championship game, but a win this week, which they'll get, and if they can take care of business against Georgia Tech, they should be in a great spot as well. They're, I think at this point, even if they lose to Georgia Tech, they're in a really good spot. I think in all likelihood, Georgia's going to the postseason as well. Ole Miss, have they officially secured a college football playoff berth? They're 10-1. They quietly survived a scare from the Florida Gators, something they couldn't do last year. They should be in great position, even if they lose the Egg Bowl to Mississippi State. But I think Mississippi State's kind of trending in the wrong direction, especially on defense. Ole Miss should be in a good spot there as well. They might even have a case to be made to not just get a home playoff game, but maybe even a first-round bye if they sit there at 11-1. Looking at Oklahoma and Alabama, those two teams are also likely going to be in the field. And we could see a scenario where the SEC gets one team, maybe 2 teams, a first-round bye, and they could have 3 teams that are hosting home playoff games if their teams are ranked 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, we'll see exactly how that works. As far as the 6-team conversation, Vanderbilt is about the only team that can possibly get there. I don't see a path, not at this point, for the Vanderbilt Commodores to get to within striking distance of the 12-team field. As far as the SEC championship game scenarios are concerned, okay, Georgia's scenario to get to the SEC title would be an Alabama loss to Auburn or a Texas A&M loss to Texas with an Ole Miss win and the strength of schedule win against Alabama. So Georgia does have a path, but they need some help from A&M and from the Alabama Crimson Tide. For Alabama, their way to Atlanta is a win against Auburn and a Texas A&M loss, or a win plus an Ole Miss loss, or a win plus a win in the strength of schedule against the Georgia Bulldogs. So you got that. Basically, if Bama wins, they should be in a really good spot to get to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. And then for Texas A&M, just win, baby. Pretty simple. They can also lock up a spot with an Alabama and an Ole Miss loss as well. And then for Ole Miss, they need a whole lot of help. They need to win against Mississippi State. They need Texas A&M to lose to Texas. And they need Alabama to lose to Auburn. So Ole Miss can make it, but the path is a lot more narrow than some of the other teams that are sitting there with one loss in conference.